about to put out like a song first quarter, and it depends on what that song does, right? So
is that song different? Is it different?
Very. I feel like it's gonna change Afrobeats.
Oh,
yeah,
oh!
it's gonna put us on the
No way. People ask me where I get all my energy from the stage to the studio and to my desk. I am the energy god, and you can be one too.
You're listening to Adeshokbe Live, the Afrobeats podcast.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another edition of Adeshokbe Live, the official Afrobeats podcast, here in the Afromedia Studios in London, where we break down the hot topics of the culture. Most times I'm joined one-on-one by a special guest in the building. As always, we appreciate the subscriptions, likes, comments, sharing. Keep those numbers going up so we don't have to rely on others to promote our culture, and we can do it by ourselves. Now, joining me in the studio for the very first time, out of Lagos, Nigeria, looking and smelling like money, it is the Outlaw King, Victony. Can you help me turn that off? Yeah. Victony, how are you doing, brother?
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. I'm excited to be here.
Listen, like I said, you Nigerian boys don't know how to hide money. It's like once you start getting it, you've got to show it.
We did try.
But listen, how has, we've just come from what is popularly known as Dirty December.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people have gone back home.
Yeah.
A lot of you guys have been working tirelessly.
Yeah.
How has December been for you?
It was pretty good. I just came from Lagos recently, and out there is crazy. The traffic is a lot of people back home.
Yeah, man.
We did a couple shows. I recently just did my own show.
Yeah.
For the second time in Lagos.
Wow.
But I did something different this time around. I tried something different. I did like a bonfire show for like 500 outlaws, right? But we did like 800 people, But yeah, it was pretty good December. I wouldn't lie. It was good.
When I saw the bonfire thing, I thought this is a different vibe.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's one of those things where everybody's trying to do something different.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to stand out, do
Yeah.
something. Talk to me, first of all, being an outlaw. Outlaw, when I was growing up watching cowboy movies and stuff, an outlaw is a rebel. This is someone whose face is on a poster, $500, $1,000 if you can find this guy. What was the first decision, or why did you, go with the outlaw first?
Yeah.
And then second of all, let's talk about the bonfire night.
So first off, back home in Nigeria is pretty much not really easy to be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a way of life that society has says that everybody has to, behave this way. And I just said to myself, if you're comfortable in your own skin and you're ready to do what you really want to do without thinking about what people have to say, then I'd rather just be an outlaw. So that's what inspired the whole movement. And so far so good. It's been moving well.
Talk to me about the bonfire thing.
Yeah, so obviously I was on the road all year last year,
Yep.
I did a lot of shows. I was on tour with Rema as well.
Yep.
I played a couple shows in Europe, and to be honest, I just said to myself, I wanted to do something really intimate. Just the people who really love Victony, right? I didn't want to do a big concert, because the previous year, 2022, I did a big concert in Lagos, but I wanted to do something different, just something relaxing. Although it still stressed me out. I didn't even know planning a smaller show wouldn't be stressful, but I thank God it came through.
Any show
Any show
is
is stressful.
You mentioned
Currently.
Rema, they're your brother that you toured with.
Yeah.
You guys you also hopped on the Soweto remix.
Yeah.
Verse crazy.
Yeah,
Did he
yeah.
tell you about that verse, or he just sent it to you? or were you there when he was recording it?
And I wasn't there when he was recording, but I had sent it to him, and you know, he just did his thing. I mean, his Rema, so he's good. Yeah,
And
he's
that
good
thing-
at what he does.
That thing just caught on.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, in London, you were supposed to perform. I think time had gone crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody saw the video that went viral with sadly you not being able to perform.
Yeah.
I understand how that goes with production times and stuff, but how did you feel at that moment? Haven't rehearsed and practiced to
Yeah.
give a performance and not being able to give that because of timing and all the, production constraints.
You know, let's talk
It's
about
painful.
something. Let's just talk about something else. I don't want to speak on the, on the issue, but yeah, but it's happened. It's happened. Yeah.
Absolutely. Listen, again, Rema's your brother. You've toured around the world with him. First of all, what is it like being a young artist
Yeah.
in this game and you guys having to find, keep a strong relationship? Because I think the young generation, you guys have a better relationship than we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
What is that like, being a young cat in the industry right now and you guys bonding the way you guys are and also traveling with each other during difficult times such as touring in America and Europe?
Yeah, I think it's just coming off the idea that, look, there's Taylor Swift, there's Post Malone, there is Ed Sheeran, all these people, they do stadiums, they all have billions of streams.
Facts.
And, so collaborating doesn't take away anything from anybody.
I like that.
Rather, it just only strengthens, the movement. And, and Afrobeat is a fresh genre, and I feel like we need more collaboration at this time, to push it forward. So I feel every young artist kind of like we have that idea, and I think that's what just strengthens our relationship.
You did something probably unprecedented.
Yeah.
You had the record that basically had every brother and their sister
Yeah.
on a whole record.
Yeah.
First of all, talk to me about that record
Yeah.
and that many representations of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a session with Crayon in 2021, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the songs we made, and I really love the song. But we didn't finish it at the session, right? And one day, I'm shout out to Kitsu. He's like my main producer in Lagos, right? And then he asked me about the record. He's like, what about the record you have with Crayon? And I said, I really love it, but I can't finish it. And then he told me, like, this is something you could do, right? He gave me the idea. So, and then I thought about it, and it just sent chills, like, down my body. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it at the time because I knew I had to, go for it, right? So Arista has a session at his studio, and then he hits me up and it's like, Ara's at the studio. So once I got Ara's vocals and I knew that was it, like, so I went after everybody, right? And yeah, so but it was really fascinating, and it was an exciting experience for me, because at that moment it was bigger than just the song,
Absolutely.
like just making an interesting song, but it was like it was history, meant history to me at the time.
Absolutely.
And it gingered me. I went after everybody, and shout out to everybody who was on the record, because the willingness to like just hop on it and like just buy into the idea.
Did they know everybody else was on there
No,
before most of them jumped on it?
Now I told them the idea, but I didn't tell them
Who was on it?
because
Because I think I saw Odumodu Black's comment, or one of them in the comments saying like, you bastard. So no, a lot of them didn't know who else was on it. How many people eventually was on that record?
There was like 13 people.
God damn.
Yeah, it's not easy, like the clearances and all.
What's the split?
Yeah.
I was just about to say,
Yeah.
what was that split sheet? I'm seeing Ira Star, I'm
Yeah.
seeing Crayon.
Yeah.
What was that clearances
Yeah,
like?
It was hectic, but shout out to everybody, because the artists, they did what they needed to speed up the process. They were like, hey, look, I'm here if you need anything. But everybody was pretty supportive, right? It wasn't so much of a hassle, right? Because in my head, I'm thinking, oh, this will probably take like a month or two, but we did it in like 2 weeks, right? So it
damn.
was, yeah, shout out to my lawyer as well, Kevin Nana. Shout out to the team, KVLT, Plug, and yeah.
Now let's talk about Victony. For me, the first time I ever heard of Victony
Yeah.
was the December 2021 when I had seen you in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And I had seen you, I believe it was at a hotel where Whiskey was coming down
Yeah.
and you took a picture.
Yeah, you were there?
No, someone just shared a video with me.
Okay.
So I just saw it. I'm like, who's this guy? So I didn't even know that Victony was like a singer that had been buzzing and you
Yeah.
were on the move with your
Yeah.
career and then had that major stop. Let's
Yeah.
take it before that. Let me just talk about Victony growing up.
Yeah.
Where you born and raised? Where
Yeah.
you from?
Yeah, so I'm born and raised in Lagos, Nigeria. That's where I went primary school, secondary school. But then I furthered my studies in the university at Owerri, Federal
Wow.
University of Technology. I studied petroleum engineering.
God damn!
Yeah.
All those maths, chemistry,
Yeah.
physics.
Yeah, because obviously you know how Nigeria is now. Like you have to study what makes sense, right?
Facts.
So
What can make you money?
exactly, right. So, but I've pretty much been in Nigeria all my life. But when I got into the university, that's when my musical career kind of like kicked off. Because all my life I wanted to do music, but you know the opportunity it wasn't there, right? But when I got into music, that's when my friend tells me, "Oh, there's a studio," right? That's like the first time I went to a studio.
At uni.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's when I started recording and I started building like a fan base in school. So started doing shows here and there. Started putting out music.
And you were rapping, right?
Yeah, I started as a rapper.
I saw you doing like was it like a battle rap scene?
Yeah.
Where
Oh,
you're battling
duh.
people.
Yeah.
Listen, I've got to be honest, the bars were hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That
The
was
bars
wild.
were hard.
Yeah, but yeah, started rapping. I was rapping in school actually, but then Corona hit and it was lockdown, right? So we all had to go back to Lagos. That's when I was in a musical camp organized by I just met Daffy at the time. He wasn't even into management at the time, but he was young and he just was one of the first people who really believed in me, you know, and I really loved his energy at the time. And then we went to the studio, he called a couple producers. That's when I started singing. So that was 2021. So I started Afrobeats. 2020, sorry, lockdown 2020, not 2021. So I started Afrobeats. I made, in the camp, I made an EP, right? And Daffy tells me he knows Toby. Alaji, he owns Mainland Block Party.
Plug.
Yeah, Plug as well. So we go to meet him and it's like, is there anything he can do for us? And that's when we collaborated with Mainland Block Party for the first EP.
Wow.
Right. So when I put that EP, I think that's what kind of like registered my name in the Afrobeat space because I had files on one of the songs. Right. And yeah, I just kept growing like my fan base little by little up until 2021, early 2021. That's when the accident happened. Right. Thank God I've been through that. It was
that difficult time.
Yeah, it was a downtime for everybody. But I mean, came out of the hospital, and that's when Holy Father dropped late 2021, and the rest is
The
everything
rest is
changed.
history.
Yeah.
I saw a video. I remember at that time
Yeah.
because when I'd seen the video of you taking a picture with Wizkid, and
Yeah.
I'd seen the video around, and then I started to read a little bit, articles about the car crash.
Yeah.
But the video that caught me, which was, a very powerful one,
Yeah.
was when you had popped up at Davido's show.
Yeah.
And you said you wanted to perform this record, but
Yeah.
this time you want to perform it standing.
Standing, yeah.
And he was like, they helped you get up,
Yeah.
and you were on your feet. Like,
Yeah.
even for me, watching through social media at the time,
Yeah.
that was an emotional moment
Yeah.
as a fan
Yeah.
who'd just gotten into your story a
Yeah.
couple weeks before that.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind at that time, having a hit record
Yeah.
and wanting to perform it on your feet, having gone through the physical and mental trauma
Yeah.
that you've been through
Yeah.
with the accident?
When the accident happened, my fans, they stood by me, family and friends,
Social
they were there
media
for me.
was crazy, yeah.
So I knew like I had to make my healing announcement like really special, right? So I found out like I could stand like probably like a week or 2 weeks earlier at physiotherapy. So I was going to physiotherapy. I was doing some standings and all that. I was stand for like a bit, and but I was still moving around on my wheelchair. So, and I was supposed to perform at Davido's show. So I told my team like, look, we have to make this a moment, right? Because a lot of people have been there for me throughout this period. So I feel like this would be a joyful moment. I feel like
For
it's
everybody.
Yeah, it's cause for celebrations. I couldn't figure out like a better way to do that, than on Davido's show. And shout out to Davido, because when the accident happened, he also supported like in a very big way. Yeah. So
Talk to me about the family background. What's it like at home?
Yeah.
Your parents, siblings.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that dynamic. Do you
Yeah.
have brothers, sisters?
Yeah, yeah.
What position are you in the family?
Yeah, I'm the last child.
Ah, man. That's why you got away with it. Music and entertainment. They had to let it go.
It wasn't even so easy, because that's why I studied engineering. But I liked engineering, right? And I was kind of like book smart growing up. But I always loved music. But you can't just walk up to your Nigerian parents and tell them that
They're not born you well.
you want to do music where there's nothing to show for it. So the accident kind of like changed everything, because when the accident happened, my parents, I don't know if they knew how big I was at the time. I wasn't so big, but I started something, right? So a lot of people came to the hospital. The hospital was wondering who they had admitted at the time, because there was a lot of artists coming through.
Celebrities.
Yeah, it's like social media, like pray for. There was a hashtag pray for Victony and stuff like that. That's where my parents really knew that okay, their kid was doing something. Right. That's when everything changed. But yeah, I'm the last child. I have 3 sisters and 1 brother. Yeah, my family is like everything to me, because we grew up together, right? Up until the time when everybody had to go to school.
Yeah.
But even at that, like communication is strong. I'm Catholic as well. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Me
so-
too. Born and raised.
For real?
Yeah. Rosary.
Yeah.
You don't play with the
Yeah.
angelus, nothing.
Yeah.
You know how it
Yeah,
is, man.
yeah. So yes, strong Christian background. Yeah, I'm pretty much from a very normal Nigerian family.
Now that the game's changed, we talked about, you coming back from the horrific injury, now stepping in,
Yeah.
hit record, pop up with Mayo Kun here, this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
What was the first thing or the first moment when you realized that it looks like this music thing could really work?
Yeah. So that's when I put out my first EP, right? And I remember that night we're all in a hotel room, we're all on our phones trying to, because we were young, we were all young at the time, right? Like, I mean, now we have like little experience. I'm speaking about my manager and like his team.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was the first artist he was managing, so we were all young, trying to get it right? We're in this hotel room, he's buzzing everybody on his friend, trying to tell his friends to change their DP to
profile
that,
pic.
right? Yeah, he's talking to everybody. I'm doing my thing. I'm creating more content with my animator and stuff like that. And when the EP drops, just the reaction. Right, when it dropped 12 midnight, I'm seeing a lot of tweets, people texting me, at that moment, and it got to number 7 on Apple Music, right?
Wow.
And I was like, just because we believed at the time, and that's when I felt more belief. I'm like, this thing is very possible, getting all these people to listen to my song like
From nowhere.
Yeah, right. That's when I had more belief, and like the EP did really well, because I played some shows in Lagos at the time, and people would sing along, right? So that EP just built like a foundation for me, basically, and that's when I knew like, I'm going to be a superstar regardless of anything. So yeah.
Well, now, like I said, when you walked in, the money looks long. Yeah, I mean, I see the whole team flying, first class flights. I've seen you in Europe. I've seen you in America. You're all over the place. You've dropped projects after projects now. You've had not only an Afrobeats hit record, you've had a global hit record in Soweto and the remix. You've done. Now talk to me about Victony now. What has the last 3 years, how has it affected you musically in terms of the experiences of what you've had? And how has it affected you personally?
The last 3 years has been like a lot. It's just been like a roller coaster. Musically, um, I know like I've grown a lot, right? I mean, obviously, like in terms of what you mentioned,
Yeah.
and also like even as an artist, right? Like my artistry has grown. Type of videos I make now,
Yeah.
how I make music in the
Yeah.
studio as well. Yeah, it's been a lot musically. Even my performances,
Yeah.
like performing in all these places, like obviously,
Absolutely.
like I have to like
Sharpens
improve.
you up.
Yeah. Also, I've also learned a lot in the industry,
Yeah.
right? The importance of like certain things, like like relationships,
Facts.
and just being humble, because there's no end to it, right? It's like you
Facts.
could be up here today and you're nowhere tomorrow. So it's
Facts.
just all about
Facts.
staying humble and just knowing that it's God given, and also the fans contributed to where you are, so you can never forget them, right? So
Absolutely.
everything we do it for the sake of our fans.
Absolutely.
That's what I've been able to gather, yeah. And personally, I've also learned a lot. Like I feel like the journey has built my character, right? I feel like the music journey has shaped me more into a man, right? Faster than I would have if I wasn't a musician. Maybe
Absolutely.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
because like being on the road without seeing my parents
Family.
often, without family,
make
just
decisions.
yeah, exactly. You just wake up today and you're nowhere, right? It's it's depressing sometimes, but
Yes.
we're learning and it's just making us better people at the end of the
That's
day.
the thing. I haven't been in spaces where I've had to travel and go to all these
Yeah.
cities and stuff. The one thing I tell a lot of fans nowadays is they have to give musicians a little bit of grace
Yeah.
because the jet lag,
Yeah.
the flights to
Yeah.
flights, the
Yeah.
lack of food, lack of sleep,
Yeah.
all these things, and you still have to present yourself a certain way.
Yeah.
You still have to perform
Yeah.
at your best.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard.
It's crazy. Trust me. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Now, what I wanted to speak to you about, especially when I realized that this brother used to drop bars as a rapper,
Yeah.
and then you flipped the script and you're singing with that pitch.
Yeah.
Did you ever, before that camp,
Yeah.
had you ever tried to sing and felt like you could hold a note?
Yeah. So I used to say like my engineers in school back then, they would tell me like, look, you're always going to be a singer at the end of the day.
No way.
But I would, argue with them. I would tell them like, nah, I'm going to be a rapper. But but the thing is like, so I used to try to sing. I would do my hooks back then and then do rap verses, right? My most popular song in school back then is called "Sing My Song," and I sang on the hook, right? I feel like that's when I started gaining attention. So I realized like, oh, this singing thing is actually working, and my engineers might not be wrong after all. So yeah, so that's when I released SMS shortly before I got into the camp. So when I got into the camp at the time, that's when I started doing more singing, and it just turned out that I like
Boys
it.
got it.
Yeah.
The boys got the pipes for it.
Yeah.
Do you
So-
now maybe take vocal lessons? Do you invest more into your singing?
To be honest, I haven't been doing much.
Yeah.
But it's something I
think you
I
should.
want to,
Absolutely,
yeah, I
bro.
really love to. But I just do more singing on my own, and I keep on improving daily, right? So yeah.
I see you flexing nowadays. Like most times when you're on stage, you're like, yeah, they need to turn off the music. Let me sing to these people. Let them know that I can sing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, that's usually their fare.
Yeah.
Even though they sound great on wax,
Yeah.
a lot of people still struggle on
Yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Breath control,
Yeah.
all those things.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's a natural thing for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the lyrics, the
Writing.
bars thing? Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm always asking rappers
Yeah.
that, especially those that can sing, it must be an added advantage.
Yeah.
The fact that you are already conditioned to
Yeah.
drop bars
Yeah.
and lines. So writing songs
Yeah, it
will
is
almost be
yeah,
easy.
It's very easy because when you take your orientation from rap, you know, into like music, like the cadence is really different as a rapper. Like your rhyme scheme is really different when you're a rapper, right? And if you infuse that with your singing, like you're a plus.
It's just easy.
Yeah, it's just easy. Yeah, yeah.
Today, I just saw on a blog, and they were like, oh, the biggest alter records of the last 12 months. Do you
Yeah.
consider yourself an alternative artist?
Um,
How would you describe Victony and his sound to
Yeah.
somebody that's just listening for the first time and would like to know what pockets you sit in?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I'm an alternative artist though, because the thing is, I haven't put out like much music in the last 3 years of my career. I only put out like one EP.
Yeah.
Like obviously ever since I popped, right?
Yeah.
Since the Holy Father, I put out like the project that has Soweto,
Yep.
Julian and all that.
Yep.
And I put out 3 singles last year, right? So I feel like an album will give people like a clearer view of who Victony
like
is,
that.
right? But I'm really like a very versatile artist, and I dabble into different sounds every now and then. But I put out more of Afrobeats now.
Yeah.
But I feel like my album is gonna give me a chance to like, you know, really like express. So, but for those listening for the first time, Victony's an Afrobeat artist that, you know, sonically I'm very different, right? Yeah, I just feel like my voice is like my that is like
That's
my
an
that's
instrument.
that's my instrument. That's like yeah.
Man.
So
You talk about the album, you say it confidently. It looks like this album is either cooked or
Yeah,
cooking.
I mean,
Which
cooking,
one
yeah.
is it?
I'm cooking it currently. I wouldn't say cook because like there's no album is cooked until release.
Absolutely, because
You
you're
know,
still removing
yeah.
and adding a song
Trust
to it.
me,
I
like
know.
people make decisions like the night before the album comes out, right?
Wow.
They make changes. So yeah, but I mean I'm cooking it and it's looking good. I'm excited, like my first album ever, like, you know. Yeah,
And what time of the year are we looking at this? What's the team saying? Are we maybe looking at the first quarter? Are we looking at the second quarter?
it honestly depends. I'm about to put out like a song
Yeah.
first quarter, and it depends on what that song does, right? So
Is that
could-
song
yeah.
different? Is it different?
I feel like it's gonna change Afrobeat.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna put us on the
no way.
yeah.
Do we have a date for the release of the song?
Not yet.
Not yet,
it's
but
very-
he's
coming soon,
he's
yeah.
ready.
Yeah, it's ready.
Is it featuring anybody?
No.
Let's talk about Victony and your features.
Yeah.
Once Holy Father did what it did,
Yeah.
and everybody heard what Victony can do on records, it looks like you're a hook master.
Yeah.
The phone started ringing.
Yeah.
So, first of all, tell me about some of these phone calls.
Yeah.
Some of the people that just invited you to come into the studio just to come vibe, that you as a fan, not as
Yeah.
Victony the artist, you're like, rah, I'm in the studio with this guy.
I think
here.
that's okay. So in 2021, after Holy Father,
Yeah.
when Burna told me to come to the studio, that was like, that was that was the time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of like changed everything, you know. Just being in the studio with Burna. I think I was in the studio with Wiz one time. Being in the studio with One Day as well. Cause you know, One Day Cool. I pretty much say he influenced like a new generation of artists. Like everybody, I feel like the new school Afrobeats have to
Especially
give
people like
credit.
yourselves who really play with the vocals.
Exactly.
Oxlade, Fireboy.
Exactly.
You know,
You know, shout out One Day Cool. Shout out Flash as well, because
yo,
20
that one's a very emotional one for me because
Yes.
I always, where's Flash, man?
I don't know, but I know he changed the game. It could trace everything back to Flash because
That Balenciaga.
before Get Up, like there was nothing sounding like that, right? Like Get Up
Get
changed.
Up was crazy.
Yes, Get Up changed the soundscape in Afrobeats. I would say personally.
Facts. I agree. I
I think,
didn't even know.
Yeah,
Here's a fun fact to you.
Yeah.
As much as I love DJ Tunes,
yeah,
and I'm one of his biggest fans,
yeah.
initially when that record was moving around Europe, I didn't even know that Nigerians had anything to do with that record.
Yo.
I swear to you.
Yo.
Like, I just hear that. Get it,
Yeah,
yeah.
he changed everything. Yeah. Yeah, Flash changed everything. I just wish he would put out more music, yeah. So, yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
that's really, really crazy. Now, you've got amazing collaborations. One with Pato Rankin.
Yes.
Talk to me about the Pato Rankin record.
Yo, so that one is crazy, right? Because I started Babylon with the producer Phantom. Shout out Phantom. He's an amazing
Phantom.
producer. Yeah, he did
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did skeleton.
Yeah.
Skeleton. He's
Yeah,
crazy.
It's crazy. So I made the record with Phantom, and then I forgot about it, right?
Wow.
Yeah, I think I just laid the hook, and then my manager tells me like Patu heard a song, right, and he really loves it. I'm like, yeah, Babylon. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, let's do it. And we did it, but the reaction
No.
blew my mind. Because if I tell you that's like my second biggest release last year.
Wow.
Yeah, Babylon, like it's crazy.
It's a big
in
record.
East Africa, it's doing madness.
No, it's a big record.
It's doing crazy
It's
in
a
East Africa.
Big,
It's like,
big
yeah.
record.
So like, that's a huge one. That's a huge
You
one.
mentioned being in the studio with Burna Boy briefly. But
Yeah.
that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a
That
big one.
record
Yeah.
is great. I was in Berlin last month when Burna gets into Bum Bum. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
that record
Yeah.
is, first of all, you're a young man. What were you? Was it Burna Boy's idea to talk about Bum Bum size, or was it your idea? We need to clear that one first.
So-
Whose idea was the Bum Bum size?
I mean, change man. It's 2024, but I'll give you the story. So it was a freestyle basically, right? I'd freestyled the whole thing into the hook, and
Yeah.
Burna was just going crazy about the song. Like he really loved it. He told me he had seen it on my page.
Wow.
Right? Because that's why I'm like that changed everything. Because sometimes people always doubt if they should put out something online
On
or not.
social
But
media.
I feel like I should use this medium to tell you, like, if you're second guessing anything, just put it out because you don't know what could happen. Right? Because I put it on my page. It was on my page, and first time I met Burna, he saw something on my page that was really crazy. I never planned on finishing the song or putting it out. I just put it out as a freestyle because I felt like at the time, and Burna tells me like, yo, we have to work on that one because it was pretty
Wow.
empty. And that's when Burna went and he
Just
laid his
crazy.
verse, and yeah, it's crazy.
And then obviously you had the new one with Black Bones.
Yeah.
Where you had to mention Shopsy Do. You know what I mean? You gave me my shout out in that. You already know. Come on, Victony.
Yeah.
Talk to me. Black Bones is a different kind of artist, too.
Yes, he
You
is.
know,
He
one
is.
of the hardest workers out of the music game
Trust.
on the African landscape.
Trust.
Talk to me about that connection
Yeah.
and making music.
First off, Black Bones I were like really cool friends, so he just hits me up and is like, oh, he's working on his album and he has this idea for his song. He had the idea for his song. He sang the hook for me in his car.
Wow.
And he's like, he really wants me on this song because he heard Babylon. Like, you see how everything just connects. It's like, I heard you on Babylon. What you doing on Babylon is crazy, and I feel like you'd be really perfect for this song. And of course it's Black Bones, so I have
That's
to
your
like
guy.
give it my all. Yeah. So, and we made it in the studio, right?
Together.
Yeah. We went in the studio together. I just kept asking him if he wanted to tweak anything, and it's like, no, it's like he really loves what I'm
gone.
doing already. And that's kind of like one of the songs I really loved working on last year, because again the reaction was kind of like surprising, and Black Bones kept on telling me like, look, I know this song is not like fast paced like them bangers on my album, but trust me, this song is gonna do its own thing, and they love it. So yeah.
Talk to me about this young collective now. I talked about the young across Africa.
Yeah.
What is the expectation? What is the goal for you, as a young artist? And of
Yeah.
course, the young generation. What are you guys thinking about in terms of this music business
Yeah.
and how you want to attack this whole thing?
Man, the thing is, Afrobeats is still fresh, and I feel like the world hasn't even seen anything, right? So we're still coming. Personally, I still want to take Afrobeats to a level where, like, it's standing with R&B, with hip hop, with
Facts.
pop music,
Facts.
right? I feel like it's happening gradually.
Already.
Like, yeah,
already.
like
You guys
see,
have
calm
done
down,
amazing. Yep.
last closer, Peru, love wanting tea. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's
I
happening
like the
already.
fact that you touched, you know,
Yeah.
the big.
Yeah, so like it's happening already, but I feel like it's even going to be more because like we have stories, right? It's like these people don't even know what happens in Africa on a daily, and the music is like the fastest way. We're using that as a medium to like tell our stories, right? You see our music videos, right? There's a lot coming, and the music is coming with the fashion, right? So I can't even like it's
styling.
bro.
There's a question I haven't asked.
Yeah.
Who is the inspiration for, or what is the inspiration for Victony?
For Victony.
Yeah, who inspired you? Who inspires
Yeah.
you? Not only sound wise, but
Yeah.
obviously the
The
style.
drip, yeah.
The drip is crazy too. You know, the Outlaw King.
Yeah,
You know,
you
so
know.
there has to be
Yeah.
something you look at, some
Yeah.
people you listen to.
I just feel like Nigeria inspires me. Let me say that. Lagos inspires me. Because like everything like down to the hats I put on, like it's the bike guys in Lagos that wear the papa's hat I
That's
put on.
cool.
Like it's called like bicycle seat cap,
Cool.
right? So like it's the little things like this is really spicy when you look at. I know it looks better to us back home, but when you travel around the world and you come back and you're like,
That's
yo,
what I'm telling
yeah,
people about the
this
culture.
is the culture is crazy. You look at I put out a song last year called
like that.
Angelus,
Yeah.
right? So it's just and the sound was from the Igbo Catholic thing. Like I use like this
like
Hawaiian guitar. So Nigeria inspires me daily, and when you just drive in the streets of Lagos, like
You see
you
something.
have to be inspired. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so it's endless. Inspiration is endless, and I feel like that's why I continue to keep being Victony.
What part of Lagos did you grow up in?
I grew up in Ojo. Yeah, that's where Bella's mother is from.
And
That's
that's
where
where
Crayon's
Crayon's from.
That's where Cage is from. as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
so
yeah. Wow. So a lot of young guys there.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, I'm proud of what you've done so far.
Yeah.
I'm a massive fan of the music, the style. For any of the young artists that's touring the world, making money like yourself,
Yeah.
hit singles, there's got to be a lot of female attention. Talk to me about that, my brother. Make us set the microphone well, so I can catch you well. Yeah. So how's that going?
I mean,
We thank God.
We thank God. Yeah.
Listen, we've got to run, but thank you very much for
Of
coming
course,
through.
of course.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Lagos, Nigeria, is the rising star, the Outlaw King,
Yeah.
Victony!
Yeah.
We thank God. We thank God.
We thank God.
Nah, that's amazing.
The Afrobeats podcast.